All right, we are live on YouTube. All right, so welcome everybody to the October 2020 JPF General Meeting. I'm Maggie Daly Skogsbakken. I am the new president. This is my first meeting, so please forgive errors and the like that I probably will make. We'll cover that. Hey, Patty. Going forward. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Got everything set up in a handy dandy PowerPoint. All right. One sec. There we go. All right, so there we go. So we have a really nice meeting today. We've got a whole bunch of speakers and information about our community, and we'll get into all of that. So, but first, I will let Katie go ahead and do her finance and membership. Ooh, that's the wrong one. I don't know where the financial one went.
That's okay. I have it right here.
Thanks. Could you go ahead?
Yeah. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. So for the finance report, we currently have $9,472.47. For our membership, we have 101 regular members, 10 associate, 24 business members, and one nonprofit business for a total of 136 current members. Thank you.
Thank you. That's awesome. That's an uptick from last month. So it's good to see people renewing and getting their memberships back. All right, so I'll just be really brief about this. There was not a whole lot of news or unexpected results, as we didn't really have any competition candidates. So I'm your new president. Katie Hoy-Stratton is going to continue being treasurer, so she's in a 2-year term. We did create a new position for president emeritus to help with the transition to new leadership and still provide more support to the board, because even though there's 9 of us, there's still a ton to do and a ton of institutional knowledge we don't all have. And then we have new kind of directors, Don Falachek, who's also going to take over being the marketing committee chair. And then we have a welcome back to Marie McDonald. She was one of our founders, and she has decided to rejoin us and help the org. All right. There we go. So typically we would go into our events, but I want to get to our speakers since we have 3 of them and I want to get that running. So we're going to start off with Georgette Foss with the Chicago Tenants Movement. We did roll everything into one PowerPoint, guys, so it might be a little weird. Like, she's going to have to tell me to move to the next slide, so please pardon us for that. But I will kick it over to Georgette.
Awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me this evening, Maggie and JP Forward. I'm Georgette Foss, and I started out with Neighbors for Affordable Housing, but we, several of us came upon this brand new organization that's starting up called Chicago Tenants Movement. And basically it's a new, sort of a new grassroots movement to help tenants with, number one, to get through issues with COVID and with people losing their jobs, losing income and whatnot. There's a lot of challenges ahead. Can you advance? Thanks. Scale of the crisis in Illinois, it's looking like 42% of Illinois renters face possible eviction for non-payment of rent, and 1/3 of Illinois households rent. Aspen Institute estimates 755,853 people are at risk of eviction in Illinois. And that's really staggering. Can you move to the next? Thanks. And so this new organization has done thus far, they've done direct actions where they demand a rent freeze and no evictions, and petitions where people are demanding the same. And we've got a dozen and counting active tenant unions organizing citywide, plus 4 regional tenants organizing hubs. And we're really growing. Next slide. And how have the city, state, and federal government responded? And it's really lackluster. State of Illinois has released a rental assistance program where 30,000 people can benefit from $5,000 online between 8/10 and 8/28. And since then, Governor Pritzker has been extending the eviction moratorium for 30 days at a time since March. And right now it's looking like it's going to end 10/23 unless he intervenes again and extends it another month. Here in the city of Chicago, there was a lottery in April for $1,000 that 2,000 people were able to receive. And then in August, another program which offered qualified renters a one-time $5,000 grant, which actually closed on 8/21. 3,000 renters were expected to benefit from that. And then recently, in the Chicago City Council introduced the Fair Notice Ordinance, where a landlord has to give a tenant a set amount of time before they can leave their apartment. And that depends sort of on how long they've resided there. So it can be like from 3 months to 6 months or so, depending on how long. And then the federal government, Trump administration, and the CDC are collaborating on an eviction moratorium, which began September 1st and ends 12/31. Moratoriums are all well and good, but they do not erase the backlog of rent that is accumulating for so many renters. And then the HEROES Act includes $100 billion in emergency rental assistance, which would be super if we could only get that to be passed. Next. So what is CTM? What we're all about, we're a network of tenant organizations and housing organizers from all over Chicago, and we're united in the struggle to keep our neighbors in their homes while they build power, organization, and solidarity to keep those roofs over their head. And Neighbors for Affordable Housing is part of that. So next. And points of unity: housing is a human right, people power and direct democracy, solidarity and mutual aid, plus liberation and self-determination. Next. And so far, oh, that's a repeat of another slide. I apologize about that. And so we've got 3 different geographic hubs: Northeast, Northwest, and West, and then South. And we're located in the Northwest, which is from we're from like west of the Chicago River to roughly the Eisenhower. So we're that whole Northwest hub. So we have regular collective meetings to work on tenant organizing campaigns, and then communication and turnout support for direct actions, which could be like, say somebody has had their heat shut off illegally. There could be like a turnout for like a picket in front of the manager's office, or like maybe a petition, or like maybe a bunch of tenants unifying and not paying rent until the heat is turned on. Next. And this is like our latest flyer. If you know anybody that's experiencing any kind of a problem, they could call this number, and it explains that tenants have rights. Your landlord cannot lock you out, change your locks, or shut off your utilities. They cannot file or threaten evictions without written notice. Poor living conditions and ignored maintenance issues are totally illegal as well. Next. And so here's how our organization works, we have our brand new hotline. So a tenant will call the hotline, and there's one of three actions that take place. They could be, if they're like in the midst of an actual eviction, legal eviction, they're referred to a company, an outfit called LCBH, and they're given immediate legal aid to guide them through the process. Or if it's not as immediate, they're sent to one of our hubs for either tenant organizing or maybe community response if there's an illegal shut off. Next. So why do we organize? Because we're seeing so many problems, especially during COVID. It seems like some landlords are really taking advantage. There's intense landlord harassment, lockout threats, and really horrendous conditions. Next. And then how do we solve them? Legal aid agencies are perfectly fine. We need them when tenants go to court, but what do we do when somebody's really being verbally threatened, or if there's or if there's any sort of repairs issues? Lawsuits take forever. So this is why we have the new hotline and our hubs. We're able to support, counsel, and organize. And next. And first thing we do is tenant union organizing. That's when we have tenants that come into the hub. We advise them on how to talk to their fellow tenants, on how to organize. We encourage them to set up a meeting. Oftentimes, one of us will go to the tenant's building. Well, during COVID, we tried to do it outdoors, of course. So we try to guide them. They tell their stories about what's going on with their building. And then we help them craft what they're going to do next. And if we get them to buy into the organization, they're able to unify and collaborate on an action on how to get the landlord to move. For example, one of the buildings we were helping out, they had a landlord that was threatening that they had 30 days to leave. So they all organized and they made it clear to the landlord that was not acceptable. And lo and behold, they got a year's lease. And that's just one example of what can happen, what kind of wins. Next. Community responses happen when, like, for example, if there's a landlord that shuts off their heat, they'll threaten to shut off heat or electricity, which is definitely illegal. So, the organization will help them. Maybe they'll do a picket against the landlord, or help them write a letter, or else, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. But that's the type of things we help them do. We help them as a unit organize, and they a lot of times they get the utility put back on and everything is fine. And then next. And so we have the hotline workers. They collect the information on the intake form. They counsel the tenant on next steps, and then they connect them with the hub. And if we're lucky enough, we get them. Next. And so feel free to connect to our work. If you know anybody that would love to help us out, connect them with this bit.ly/CTM orientation, and they can get you hooked up and rolling with us. Next. And I think that's it.
Might be it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Georgette. I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments or any of that. I suppose, let me see if there's anything in the chat. We can always, are you able to hang out for a little bit too, Georgette? Because we can
Absolutely,
always
yeah.
circle, let's get through the speakers maybe, and then if
Oh,
there's anyone that wants to
sure.
chat about stuff, let's do
Absolutely.
that at the
Yeah,
end. Okay, cool.
I'm here till 8:30. That's fine. Yeah,
All right, cool.
cool.
So I don't know if I knew Eileen was gonna be late.
I'm here.
You're here, yay! So next we're gonna give the mic to Eileen from the Chicago Public Library. Sorry about the poor logo, Eileen.
Good.
To give us an update on safety in the library and any programming they have and what we can do to take advantage of this amazing resource. So with that, I will hand it over to Eileen.
Sure. Thank you very much for inviting me. As she said, my name is Eileen Donalek. I am the branch manager here at the Jefferson Park branch of the Chicago Public Library. So I do apologize for not having a PowerPoint presentation ready to get to you. It's been an interesting day. Public is our middle name. So if you think that members would like to have that, I am more than happy to send that to you after the meeting tonight.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd be happy to get that distributed.
Okay, thank you. So I wanted to cover a few points this evening for those of you, particularly those of you who haven't been in since the pandemic started or since our renovation last year, and just share some general information about what's going on at the library. So our hours at all the branches, including ours, are limited to 7 hours a day, and they are Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 10 to 5, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 7, and Sundays we are closed. There are a handful of locations that are open on Sundays, and the one closest to us would be the Dunning branch. And Dunning is at, let me get the right address for you here. Oops. Dunning is 7455 West Cornelia Avenue. Northtown is another one, and they're at Pratt and Western. So those are not our normal hours. They're a little odd, and people are still getting used to that. Libraries nearby that are open late Mondays and Wednesdays would include Austin Irving, Edgebrook, and Mayfair. So if some of you go to other libraries in the area and prefer a different late night, there are other options. All of the hours are on the website, which is www.chi, P as in public, U, B as in boy, LIB as in boy.org. So it's chipublive.org. We do have a lot of online resources. So for those of you who may not be familiar with them, if you go to our website, we have ebooks and e-audiobooks. We have homework help. We have access to magazines and newspapers. And you can place holds on physical material before you come in and just be able to come in and pick them up if you don't want to come in and browse right now. So ebooks and e-audiobooks are through databases such as Overdrive, and they have their old Overdrive app and a Libby app. Those are available for both iPhones and Android phones, as well as other devices. RB Digital is another resource, as well as Hoopla. And then for magazines and newspapers, RB Digital and Hoopla provide those, as well as Flipster, ProQuest. We have access to the Tribune and the Sun-Times, other Illinois papers, and more. Online homework help for any of you that might have children, grandchildren, even adults or teens in your household who are looking for homework help is through BrainFuse, as well as the Chicago Digital Learn project. And that would include GED prep, SAT and ACT prep, If you know anybody who's struggling to learn things on the computer or set up an email, they can get help that way through Digital Learn as well. For those of you who have not been in since the pandemic started, the whole list of frequently asked questions is available on the website. From our homepage, you would click on the link in the purple bar that's just below the top part of the page, and that gives you all the information, and I'm going to share the basics of that with you next. So if you haven't been in, there are certain safety precautions in place because we want to keep all of our patrons as well as our staff safe. And those include wearing a mask that covers your nose and your mouth the entire time you're in the library, preferably staying no more than an hour. If we don't hit our capacity, and we do have a capacity of no more than 20 patrons at a time, then you're welcome to stay longer than that. We're not going to kick anybody out. We don't have a stopwatch on anyone. So that's not an issue if you needed to be in the library for more time. We are asking people to use the computer no more than 1 hour a day. But again, if you need it longer, as long as there are computers available, we can extend your time or give you a second appointment. I'm guessing anybody who's here right now on Zoom generally won't need a computer, but if your printer fritzes out on you, you can come in and print. Printing is 15 cents a page, cash only, and our printer is black and white. So unfortunately, we don't have color printing here. We are asking that all material, with the exception of the museum passes, which are circulating again, those can be brought in. Everything else has to be returned in the book drop outside, and we're emptying it on a regular basis. Once we empty the book drop, that material sits for 4 full days, and then on the 5th day after emptying it, it gets checked in. So you may notice that items are staying on your account longer, or you think to yourself, I returned that book, why is it still showing up? Why do I have a charge for the entire cost of a book when I returned it? It's because of that quarantine period that we're doing. We are not charging fines. As long as that item gets checked in properly, then it gets knocked off your record. So even if you see a charge for a lost item, it's technically not lost if you've put it in the book drop. We just have to check it in. So don't panic. You can always call and ask us questions. We're happy to walk you through that process. The other safety guideline that we have here in the library is that we're asking everybody to respect social distancing guidelines with other patrons and with staff, and we're trying our very best to do that as well. There are some areas in the library where things get a little tight in terms of space. So if you've been in here, you've seen there's sort of a bottleneck when you first walk into the adult area or you first walk into the children's area. Say somebody is using the print release station or using our public scanner, and someone else is trying to pull a hold off the shelf across the way from that. It can get a little tight, but we're trying to keep people mindful of that as well. So those are the basic safety guidelines that we have in place right now. If someone does come in and they don't have a mask with them, we can give them a temporary one. So that's not a problem. So let's see what else I can. Oh, right. The other safety guideline is we do ask people not move furniture. There is just one chair at each table, and we can try and work with people who come in together to find a place to sit, but we've carefully positioned everything so it's at least 6 feet away from somebody else who's sitting down. So there may be an occasion where you come in and you want to just sit next to somebody. It may not be possible. One, there may not be a chair available. And two, as I said, we're trying to keep everybody at least 6 feet apart. So there's that as well. And if we do see people who are not following the guidelines, somebody who doesn't want to wear a mask, or people who are otherwise not following things, and it's causing a safety issue for other people in the building, we may ask them to leave. So we want to keep you all safe. One of the things that some of you may not be aware of, or maybe you haven't had a chance to come in since we remodeled, but we did go through a major remodel last year. So if you haven't been in, the library looks very different than it used to. We have all new shelving, new computers. We have a new space for the teens, which right now, because of the pandemic, is closed. It's kind of hard to social distance in there, but it will open up again and it's awesome. We have new lighting. They refreshed us with paint. We have a small study room now. So when the study room and the meeting rooms open up again, that will be available. And that can seat up to 6 people. If you know somebody who's coming in when we can use that again, who just wants a quiet place to study, it's awesome. So we're really happy to have that now. My office is in the back, and what used to be my office, what used to be the branch manager office, is now the small study room. So if you don't see me, I might be squirreled away in my manager's cave. But staff can get me, no problem, if anybody needs to talk to me about anything. We have, and again, because of the pandemic, it's not out right now, but we have a bigger play space for the kids. So we put toys and games and puzzles out. Those are pulled right now, as I said, because we want to keep everybody safe. But someday we'll get to put those out again. One of the big things I think most people notice when they come in here is the difference in the amount of shelving we have. That did impact our collection, but we were able to spend about $75,000 last year on new material for the branch. So the librarians, we all had an amazing time picking out new material for folks. So come in and do check that out, or look online and see if you can find something that we own here. And as I said before, you can place a hold on it and come in here and pick it up. Another impact of COVID, and of course the study room and the meeting rooms being closed, is programming is not happening in person right now, but it is happening virtually. So you have the option to get programming from librarians and people around the system, not just to libraries that you can physically get to. Our librarians are doing some programming. So Kathy, our children's librarian, will be doing some preschool and toddler story times in November. And those dates are November 11th and 18th. If I remember correctly, the preschoolers are at 10:15 and the toddlers are at 11:15. And both programs will last about 45 minutes. Our teen librarian, April, who joined us this year in March, she's new to the staff and it's new for us to have a teen librarian. She has been working on a rotation with several other teen librarians on doing virtual gaming for teens every Tuesday from 3:30 to 5. She's working on some other programs as well. And one that's coming up this month is Share a Scary Story. So if there are any teens in your life who like to write and like to write scary stories, they are welcome to submit those to her via email through October 24th. And then on October 29th, she'll do a live reading of the stories that teens have submitted. So that should be a lot of fun for them. To find the programs online, we do recommend that you use online, let me get back to the screen, that you use online events as the location instead of a specific branch. If you go to a specific branch and try to find out what they're doing, you may see some of the grab a snack programs that are having, or you may see a program where a librarian is doing something virtually and offering a kit to participate. And that's specific at their branch. But the rest of the programs, like the story times our children's librarian is doing, are online programs. So if you go to the website and you click on the events tab near browse, you can then sort by date, you can sort by audience, you can sort by language, and you can sort by programs, which will give you special categories like the One Book One Chicago programs that are going on. And again, those are virtual at this time. So there are still programs going on in the system, just not in the traditional fashion. So that's all the information I had to share. If anybody needs to reach us, you have a few ways to do that. During the hours that I mentioned before, and again, I'll send these screenshots on, our phone number is 312-744-1998, and you can reach us during the business hours. If you think of a question you have and it's off hours, or you just want to shoot us an email, the branch email is Jefferson Park, all one word, at CHIPUBLIB.org. So it's the first three letters of Chicago Public and Library. Jefferson Park at chipublib.org. If you want to reach me directly, my email is a little convoluted. It's EK, D as in David, O, H as in hare, N as in Nancy, ALEK, or AL, it ends at AL. It's Ekdonal, EKDOHNAL at CHIPUBLIB.org. I am unfortunately not going to be able to stay on until 8:30, so anybody has any questions, feel free to email the branch account or mine personally, and I will do my best to answer them for you. And again, thank you for inviting me to speak this evening.
Thank you so much for being here. That was really informative. And that teen librarian program with the scary stories sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, April is turning out to be amazing and a great part of the staff. She's itching to do in-person programming, but she's been doing really well with the virtual programming that she's working on as well.
That's great. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be in touch, I'm sure. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share screen again. Here we go. All right. So our next speaker is Deb Haas from Raise Your Hand for Illinois Public Education. She's going to give us an overview of their org and some helpful resources. With that, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to you, Deb.
Thanks. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak. I think that Maggie Barron might be a more typical Jefferson Parker. I'm a Hyde Parker, so I'm on the opposite end of the city. But the beauty of these Zoom meetings is we can not deal with traffic on the way back and forth. So it's great to be here. Maggie would love to be here. She's leading trivia night tonight. We are in the midst of an annual benefit that lasts 10 days and has multiple events. So I put a link for that in the Zoom, in the chat for you. And please join us this coming Saturday or on Tuesday for the documentary if you can, or on Friday. Oh, there you go. Thank you. So that, yeah, that's, and you all, Jefferson Park Forward bought an ad, and we're really grateful for that. And that ad will be seen by probably tens of thousands of people before all is said and done. Please join us if and when you can. And then I just want to share a little bit of information about Raise Your Hand. If anyone on the Zoom at the meeting already is familiar with Raise Your Hand, would you mind putting like a thumbs up in the reactions so I know, or show me a thumbs up? That's great. All right, like half of the people. That's wonderful. So will you flip the slide for me, please? So, you know, we say we're emerging. We're about 10 years old. We're a grassroots citywide organization, and we organize parents and caregivers and other community stakeholders around systemic issues in education. And our mission and vision statement are here for you. But, you know, the important things to know is that we believe that every child deserves a well-resourced, well-rounded public education. Our founder, Wendy Catton, calls it an education with dignity. And if we switch slides, you'll see our value statements, that we think public education is a public good, and that we're out to reduce or eliminate those systemic inequities that we know are part of living in Chicago and really across the country. And, you know, I think importantly for a community group like yours, we really believe that schools anchor communities, and that communities should be part of the decision-making process for their schools. So at the end, I'm going to give you some information about LSCs and encourage you to vote an extra time in November for those LSC elections. Next slide. So this is just a list of some of our most recent issue areas and campaigns. We're an organization that really performs a couple of functions. We provide a ton of information through a public Facebook page, a closed group on Facebook, a special education Facebook group, Twitter. We have an Insta now. I am not much of an Insta person, so I can't tell you about that, but with a lot of followers and where people are exchanging a lot of information. Remote learning has been a huge topic. We just had a town hall on remote learning. We've been allies and working with youth around police-free schools, and making sure that our schools are adequately staffed with social workers and counselors and adults who can help youth. LSCs, the local school council that governs the school, special ed, as I mentioned, and really adequate funding. And we believe in that elected community representation. So next slide. This is just to give you a sense of quantity of effort. We've reached this slide is about a month old, but at that point we had reached, in around COVID programming and other things, 2,000 people in many programs, and conducted a survey that we think helped push CPS to think more seriously about remote learning, which was what parents wanted. None of us loves doing it. I think there have been a lot of problems, and I don't know if you heard the scoop today, but we're definitely having another quarter of remote learning in Chicago public schools. So be thinking about, if you're not a parent yourself, be thinking about all those parents and your children in your lives who are going through that right now. Next slide. Before I talk about our LSC work, I should just say something about special education. You may be aware that during the last administration, there was an effort to delay and deny special education services, really against federal law for special education services. And Raise Your Hand played a critical role in helping parents document that and get the state to intervene to make sure that children got the services that they need to succeed in a timely and appropriate way. So I want to just acknowledge that. And then the next slide talks a little bit more about our LSC work. So we've been engaged right now. Anyone here serve on a local school council? Raise your hand or put a thumbs up in. No, if you don't, you can. Parent, community member. I'm running to be a community rep in my neighborhood for my neighborhood elementary school. So please share if you can, or please encourage people to run for those offices. We have in Chicago, many local school councils aren't fully constituted. They don't have all of the community reps or the parent reps that they need. And they pay, those council members play an important role in approving budgets and monitoring finance and helping to create the plan for the school. So at the bottom of this slide, you'll notice that elections are coming up on November 18th for elementary schools. You vote in person at your elementary school, and November 19th for your local high school. Because we're in Chicago, and Chicago's the kind of district it is, you may be eligible to vote at multiple high schools and elementary schools. For instance, I can vote at my neighborhood school, at Language Academy Magnet School, and at my local high school. So I make the rounds. I feel very much like a participant in democracy on LSC election day. And if you want to feel powerful, unfortunately, not a lot of people vote for these positions. And so you can make a big difference with your vote if you turn out. And the last slide, I think, just has our contact information. John Nan, she is our executive director. He's been on board for a year, and our social media links are here. we, periodically do trainings on everything from understanding your rights and around special education to how to speak to legislators about education issues that you're concerned about. We're nonpartisan, so our trainings are really focused on how to get your voice heard, whatever that voice may be. And trying to think, I'm sorry, I talk fast, so I might be the fastest speaker tonight. But I'm happy to stay on for another, 15 or 20 minutes. Are you thinking of taking questions at the end of the meeting or at the end of these presentations?
I was thinking at the end of the presentations for a little bit.
So I can stay on, and I put my email in the chat too, if anyone just wants to talk to other parents about what it's like. My children are now, one's in college and one's out of college. So I will remain interested in public education forever, but I will sometime soon move off of Raise Your Hands board. We have a new group of parents, one of whom has a kindergartner, a second grader, and a third grader. So the next generation is starting to take leadership, and it's really exciting to see.
Nice. Thank you so much for this. I have twins in Hitch Elementary, and so do other parents on this call right now. So big fans of our community school and appreciative of this information.
Well, and thank you for supporting your community schools. I think we've seen, especially during this time, the value. If we had been a community school focused district, some of the challenges around the remote learning would be much simpler to manage.
Yeah, this is rough.
families.
This is
families
real
have
rough.
Children with similar schedules, and the neighborhood associations and the schools where there are permitting a limited number of children to come in so that they can access services and laptops and things are facing a lot of challenges because children from multiple schools are coming in and being put in a room together and are online with all of their different classrooms and schedules at the same time. And so lots of challenges that we're working to document and help people present to the Board of Education so that the board gets a better understanding and hopefully starts to resolve things.
That's awesome. All right, so let's go to the next slide. All right, so with the last person, before we do questions real quick, I wanted to give our business partner, Wildlight Yoga, Kelly, I don't want to brutalize this, but I probably will, Weffenstedt. I'm going to give her a few minutes to update about what's going on at Wildlight, how they're navigating COVID and what they have coming up for us this fall and winter. So Kelly, you want to go ahead?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Did you hear me before, or was I talking to myself? Okay. I'm Kelly Weffenstedt, the owner of Wildlight Yoga. Thank you so much for having me tonight. Wildlight is located at 4140 North Milwaukee, just north of the Six Corners intersection, where we've been for 2 years. We just celebrated 2 years on September 15th. So it's really exciting to be here and to be recovering well from the kind of pause we took during COVID. Wildlight is an adventure-inspired studio on the Northwest side. Prior to COVID, we were one of 3 yoga-specific studios on the Northwest side. Currently, we are the only one that's still offering classes, that's still open to the public and offering classes at this time. So we have a wide area that we're currently serving. We offer traditional yoga instruction in up to 20 styles of yoga. Not all are in person currently, but we have them through our regular class schedule, workshops, and our online classes, our online class library. We also offer workshops or adventures, which are everything from deeper dive into specific styles of yoga to partnerships with our local businesses, such as yoga and candle making or yoga and axe throwing that has been wildly popular. We offer those Friday, Saturday, and Sunday almost every single weekend. We offer trainings from kids yoga to yoga teacher trainings to specific styles again for people who want to teach or people who cross. We get to jump back into yoga and travel again. The biggest change that we've experienced or that we've kind of undertaken as a result of COVID is really making sure what we're offering is aligned with our values. First and foremost, making it accessible. We saw so many people and heard from so many people that now more than ever, they're looking for a deeper opportunity to grow their yoga practice, or they're looking to experience it for the first time, or they're looking to see if maybe this is something I don't hate. And we wanted to meet that need with the sensitivity of people who are facing all sorts of financial challenges. We don't want finances to ever step in the way of something that can be such a powerful tool for, you know, our mental, physical, and spiritual health. So we did 3 things starting in May that have been really transformative for the people who visit our studio. We rolled out an equitable annual membership, which to my knowledge, and honestly, I'd love to see that if there are other studios doing this, but to my knowledge, we're the only studio in Chicago and perhaps the state of Illinois that's offering this right now, an equitable annual membership where people get to choose how much they pay for an annual membership instead of having a requirement that you have to pay X amount of dollars to come in and have this opportunity to have a regular practice, uninterrupted practice every day. We give people the opportunity to choose what they pay. No scholarships, no income verification. A market rate annual membership in Chicago is $1,200. We're offering those on a range from $600 to $2,000. So you choose what you pay, no questions asked. We want everybody to be a member and enjoy the benefits of an uninterrupted practice. And honestly, once people commit to an annual membership, that's where they really start to see benefits in their like personal daily life. So we want everyone to be able to benefit from that. Secondly, we recorded and rolled out introduction to yoga videos that are on our website, and they're donation based. So sometimes people, probably many of us here, have an interest in, you know, trying something new, but we hear like, I'm not sure if I like it, or I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it, or I'm intimidated to try something new, to try a new space. Do I have the right clothes? Do I have the right props? Like, I haven't exercised in 10 years, you know, I'm not sure if I'll even like it. While we welcome everybody wherever they're at to come in and practice with us, we thought that these intro videos would be a great way for people to try yoga in general, or the different styles that we offer from the comfort of their own homes. So again, no questions asked, provide a donation if you would like to. We have those intro videos embedded on our website. And then this has been so much fun and so exciting for us. We recorded, I think we're at like 140 classes in a yoga library that we call our Jet Setter library. So again, 16 different styles of classes have been recorded and uploaded to our website, where you buy one pass, $75 for unlimited lifetime access, and you have access to over 130 classes. It's been so neat to hear people say that this is the first time in their lives they've been able to have a regular practice. They no longer have, you know, the excuse or the barrier, depending on how you want to look at it, to get into the studio, that if work is crazy, or my family needs me, or I'm traveling, I can still practice with my teachers every day. We have people practicing in hotel rooms across the country. We had someone reach out and say, I haven't been able to make it into your studio yet because I'm a full-time caregiver, but I practice with the Jet Setter Library at midnight in my garage. I have people taking my classes that I went to high school with and I haven't seen, in just a couple of years since I graduated high school. So it's been a phenomenal way for people to have a consistent practice while also trying teachers that they've never tried and styles that they've never tried or have been intimidated by or just not sure if they like. It's been so beneficial for my practice and so many of our students. And then beyond that, so those are the main like financial accessibility components that we've shifted towards. We're also taking in considerations for safety. People have a lot of things going on in their life and we're working to meet the needs of everybody wherever they're at. So all of our classes now that the weather has gotten cold are offered in studio. We're rolling those out to bring those back in the studio and via Zoom. So it does not matter where you are in the world, you can practice with us via Zoom. If you're not ready to venture out of the house, we got you. Or you can practice in the studio too. We're still offering private parties. Those have been pretty popular through this time. So we can come to you or you can come to us for a small socially distanced tailored class, depending on what you're looking for. If it's just a regular class or a bachelorette party or a baby shower or a birthday party, we're still offering those. We're helping people get set up at home. Honestly, it's my goal to reduce as many barriers as possible to practice because yoga can be so transformative for our physical and mental health that I want to help you get set up at home and in the studio so that no matter what's going on in your life, you can still practice. We continue to order props for people and help with those videos and with consultation people set up so that they have everything that they need to practice at home. And then we're also offering shorter classes. So a traditional yoga class is 75 minutes that includes, meditation and breath work too. We've always adhered to that, but people need to fit in classes at different points during their day. So we are offering lunchtime classes that are 30 to 45 minutes. We, in that Jet Setter Library that I was talking about earlier, have classes and meditations that are as short as 15 minutes. Some of these express classes. So we know that those have been really helpful for people. In terms of COVID precautions, and as we move back into the studio, it's just been a few weeks since we've been doing that. We expect everybody to adhere to these precautions for the safety of all. Certainly, first and foremost, pre-registration is required. We're no longer accepting drop-ins. We need everybody to register for the classes that they're coming to because we're running at a limited capacity. We did a whole overhaul, physical overhaul of the studio to increase the capacity of the space and let people distance. So few spots, less than 10, socially distanced at all the time. We're asking all of our students to bring their own mats and props. We're not providing those at this time due to concerns for sanitation. We require everybody to wear a mask at all times, even during their practice. And we understand that some people can't, which is totally great. You can Zoom in with us. So our classes are pretty split, half of the people in the studio, half of the people via Zoom, and it's worked out really well. We're taking temperatures when people come in. We have medical grade air filtration systems set up and running all the time, and then ample sanitation, multiple times, deep sanitation throughout the week, and cleaning multiple times a day too. So we want everybody to be safe and comfortable practicing in the way that's best for them, and we can help you figure out what's best for you as well. And then what's coming up, everything. we don't know what's coming up. I'm helping everybody get adjusted back to the studio. We just launched a couple of those new classes that I talked about, cardio yoga and bar yoga via Zoom only. And then we're preparing for Small Business Saturday and the holidays. So we have gift boxes that are available for pre-order, and you can pick up on from November 15th to Small Business Saturday with all products that we love and use in the studio that are made by our other local businesses. Collective produces our candles. Distinct Bath and Body makes us soap. We get tea from Portage Park Tea, lots of stuff from Rep Shy. And then we expect props to be a big seller as well. Again, helping people get set up with their home studio. So anything people need, we can order. And we're open to requests, right? We're all figuring it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly. It's really nice to hear you're offering people so many options to do, you know, from the home to coming in. And that pricing equity thing is pretty cool.
Yeah, spread the word and have people reach out. We're not open to the public during the day, and we don't have a phone. So that being said, email. The email comes to me, and we'll respond with whatever we need, however we can help. So reach
Awesome.
out if you're interested.
Well, thanks for all you're doing, and thanks for being a business partner with JPF. We appreciate your support.
Thank you so much.
No problem. So with that, I want to open it up before we move on to upcoming events, where we will have another speaker just to introduce their group. But before that, for any of the past speakers, did anyone have any questions? You can go ahead and unmute yourself or throw it in the chat. Otherwise, I know Deb had to leave pretty quickly after the speakers, so wanted to give that opportunity if anyone had a question. All right, I'm not really seeing anybody. We will post everyone's contact info if they had a presentation or if they've shared that. Like, we'll post it in the event as a follow-up probably tomorrow. So you'll have access to everyone's info. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, thank you, Deb. All right, so let's go into some upcoming events. So we have been running we've been running business partner raffles on and off since March or since late spring. And we are running the October business partner raffle now. And I promise this is the last month you will hear about it from me, because thanks to Don Balichek, he will be taking over managing that program, and we're going to try and keep it going at least for a few more months. So Don, did you have any words you want to share about the business partner raffle?
Well, I say Saturday is a good chance to get a receipt for the raffle, because you can stop at Weston's before the October JPF walk. But hey,
Nice segue.
This is a great way to help local businesses. God, I just shared a Facebook post to the group. I mean, God, Windsor's got a special 2 pizzas for $20. Boy, you can't beat the deal. So, I mean, it's a great way to give back and help some of the local businesses.
Right on. So with that, I'm going to leave it with you to talk about the October walk this Saturday.
Yeah, and boy, earlier in the week it was always going to be sunny and dry, but they were talking 50 on Saturday. Now they're talking low 60s on Saturday, so it's going to be a nice day. Knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Getting a little bit of exercise, and our end goal will be Hiawatha Park out on Forest Preserve Drive, which is an early voting location. So the thought is, hey, go there and do some early voting. And so it should be a really good time. You'll bring a face mask. Its round trip is about 8 miles. So, but I voted there before, and I'm sure they're going to be. I'm sure because of COVID, they're shifting into their gymnasium there, which is quite big. So, like I said, we do these every month. They're always a good time. So, good chance to get some exercise, meet some people in the neighborhood, and like I said, this one you get to vote as well. And if you want to get the Weston's before 10 a little early and have some breakfast or a beer, all the better.
It really is awesome that they have both beer and coffee. I really like that.
Yeah, and they are serving beer before 10 o'clock now. It used to be they didn't serve them earlier, but the last couple walks I've had a beer before the walk. So.
Nice. All right, I'll just quickly touch on intervention. Anyone who's interested in joining us for intervention, we are back and we are doing this about every other week. So anyone who wants to work on anything that you can work on, in your lap, because we're sitting outside these days, is welcome. So knitters, crocheters, crafters, jewelry makers, sketchers, writers, whatever. You just want to sit and stare off and not have your kids around. That's totally cool too. So we are meeting at people's homes at this point from people who have been participating in our group for a while. So we aren't publishing that address, but everyone is more than welcome. Just shoot one of us a PM and we'll get you the location. The next one is this Sunday at 11 a.m. It's near Cicero and Montrose. And we're probably going to do about every other week. We'll get back to being better about the Facebook page and getting them up on there now that we're back up and running. But yeah, all are welcome on this. It's a nice meetup. And then really quickly about the Fall Forward community cleanup, please check your emails, check the Facebook page, and join us. Or don't join us, actually. You're going to go out on your own and clean up. We were going to have some supplies at Weston's. Just claw grabbers and bags, and that's probably about it. You should also use your own supplies, especially your own gloves. But just go out anywhere in Jeff Park, clean up anytime between October 23rd and November 1st. Just trying to get, keep our programs going and figure out a safe way to do it. So you choose the time, you choose the place. And then if you're so inclined, go ahead and share a photo with us, either via the marketing@jeffersonparkforward.org email or on our Facebook page or Twitter, I guess, or wherever you want. Just give us a tag saying JPF Fall Cleanup and then include trash tag in it if you would too. And then we will enter you into a raffle to win some JPF swag, and everyone who does that also will get a discount code for Weston's for their next visit. So thanks to Weston's for that and for hosting kind of the pickup location. Please do check Weston's website for their hours. They're approximately 7 to 2 every day these days. I know a couple days until 3, a couple days might be till 1. But whenever he's open, you can go on in and pick up stuff, and we'll keep an eye on it and keep it supplied. So with that, I want to bring on our last little introduction. We've got a few words from Jacques Charles. I hope I said that right. There's a new neighborhood group, Northwest Siders for Racial Equity and Justice, and they're advocating for they look at their name. So what we'd like to do is to give them time to talk about some of the issues in more depth, is host them at a separate event. We're going to call it a civic salon, see how that goes. We're tentatively scheduled, I don't want to steal his thunder, but October 29th, we'll work on that date and push it out via all of our channels. So keep an eye out for that. But with that, I want to hand it over to Jacques to give us a little introduction to the group and let us know what they're working on. So Jacques, you ready?
That sounds good. Yep, I am, Maggie. Thank you. Good. And good evening, everybody. We've had, housing. We've had library. We've had yoga. We've had school. So what would the night be complete without police? I will, however, be short, and that's not just a throwaway line. I will be short because I appreciate that JPF is opening this up on the 29th, as Maggie said, as a civic salon, where we'll go deeper into this and have conversation with folks who are interested in being part of the police reform work that's going on around the Chicago consent decree. My name is Jack Charlier, lifelong resident of Northwest Side, and I just moved back into Jefferson Park. I live in downtown Jefferson Park, and I'm a JPF member. So super cool to get a chance to meet all of you in person, and those who obviously I'm meeting only visually for now, look forward then to the chance when we can meet in person. Northwest Siders for Racial Equity and Justice. It's about moving forward on police accountability. This is not a new topic. We're centered around the consent decree, which goes back already several years. So yes, there's lots going on in the air, but the issue of police accountability and police reform involving race and equity and conduct of police is not new. And so we're just inviting folks from JPF, the Northwest Side, including the near ring suburbs, who want to be part of a ongoing work on the Chicago Police consent decree. The consent decree is what we're centering our work around. Why? Because the consent decree exists, it's real, and it is already underway. So very simply, police accountability is what you're into. If that's something you'd like to be part of, to see what the mechanics of that looks like, it's in the news almost every single day. There is a story somewhere and another about Chicago police and accountability. We invite you to join us. So as Maggie said, there'll be a civic salon on October 29th at 7 p.m. We'll go into the full kind of rigmarole then about what's going on and listen to you. And then our next meeting will be on Tuesday, November 10th at 7 p.m. I have put in the chat box not only my email and the date and time of the next meeting, but also a very brief PowerPoint presentation. It's 7 slides that explains some information from a recent survey that was done citywide about how people in the city of Chicago view the Chicago police and how the police department functions. So last thing I'll say is this. This is not a pro or anti-police group. That's not what we're doing. We are about ensuring that the taxpayers who fund the police department are treated in a way that is just, that is equitable, and all of us are getting the bang for buck proposition out of the police that we would want out of any city agency, no matter who they are. It just has a lot more emotions and history wrapped into it because it's police. But other than that, it's just making sure we've got a city agency. Are they doing what we expect them to do? And again, we use the consent decree as the center, but not the limitation of our work. So Maggie, again, thank you very much. That's it. And chat box for the presentation, as well as my name, email, and the November 10th meeting at 7 p.m. Hope to see all of you on the 29th of October. And again, since I'm a JPF member and live in downtown Jefferson Park, I will see you around as I get involved in JPF events. So thanks, Maggie. That's it.
Right on. Sorry, I
under 3
mispronounced your
minutes.
name. I was making it all French and stuff.
That's okay. Growing up in the Northwest side, you know, there's a large French population here, and I'm used to that. So it's all good.
Right on. Right
Under
on.
3 minutes. There you go. You got it.
That was quality. The salon won't be quite as short. Like I'm looking forward
Rock
to
and
a
roll.
deeper
Yeah, no,
dive
rock-
into learning more.
Rock and roll. Thank you very much for that. Yep.
Thank you, Jack. All right. So other business. I want to. I know that I don't know if Mark Hansen has a moment to speak, but he had made a mention of perhaps getting a community development salon scheduled. Did you want to say anything about that, or you want to save that for another day, Mark?
Sure. Yeah, we've got one in the works and in the books. I might change the date. Jack, I had one for 11/10, but I might change that to give room for your meetings. I think a lot of folks who there's crossover appeal between the salon communities.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, and to
I get
double
that.
check, Maggie and Jack, what is the Civic Salon date coming up next?
We're looking at October 29th.
29th, a Thursday.
Yeah, that's looking like the date that works for everybody. That works
Okay.
for.
Oh, we're gonna get an email about it to remind
Yeah,
us for those of us
absolutely.
that forget everything.
Yeah, you'll definitely get an email about it. We'll post it on the Facebook group and the Facebook page, and we'll throw it on the calendar on the website too.
Thank you, Maggie.
Cool. And then after that, at some point, there will be a community development salon on a couple brief videos on urban development that is very fun. And we've done a couple of these before on things like the Main Street Initiative and Strong Town Movement, and this relates to those. I'll put just our page here. There's a sub-page, a committee page that all of you are welcome to join if you'd like to follow the small group discussions there. And there is a salon date posted there, and I will change it from November 10th though, because I want all of us to attend all meetings, all salons, all everything.
Thanks, Mark. All right, guys, I'll open it up. Does anybody else have anything for the good of the club?
I have something exciting for the good of the club.
Tell us, Dobra.
I have a pierogi dumpling class on Saturday. So if you want to get rid of your husband or your wife or the teenagers, I'll take good care of them for 3 hours. And then I'll bring a lot of dumplings back home. So if anybody is looking for something fun to do, we're going to make our own dough and fill our dumplings and cook them and eat them and then take the rest home. So, you know,
Nice.
that's what's going on at the bakery, guys.
Nice. Yeah, everyone, Dobra is with Delightful Pastries, and she is a JPF business partner. And I want all of that. All of it sounds delicious. So
Coming over for pierogies, you know, we're going to have some out of the pot.
you won't have to twist my arm too hard. I'm an Irish girl in a Polish neighborhood. I'm in. And you got pierogies and beer. I'm there. All right, everybody. I think that wraps it up, unless anyone has anything else. you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and share.
Yeah, this is Don. Actually, I have a question for Dobra. Are you going to be carrying that babka on a daily basis, or is that something you've got to order?
You
That
know
one-
what? That's a very special babka that only I get to make.
Okay.
So just call me ahead and I'll make it for you. It came out so good. I ate the whole thing by myself. It was terrible, but it's delicious. So it's the
Okay.
latest and greatest, you know. Thanks, Donald.
Now I'm thinking about babka and pierogies and
Chocolate
all
pop.
these. I know all these good things. All right. Well, thank you.
Chocolate
You guys stay safe and stay warm. And if anybody's up for a nice coffee, come on over and have a conversation. If you're tired of being at home, you know, the coffee's on me, and, you know, and I'll provide the punchkis or some croissant if you want to be French and pretend you're in Paris. So come on over, guys. The coffee and the croissant is on me. Okay.
Right on. Thank you so much, Barbara. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, sweetie.
All right. Are we good? I think we're good. Thank you guys. It's successful.
Thank
We're
you.
under an hour and a half.
Awesome.
So hopefully soon we'll all be together doing this in person. So thanks everyone. We'll talk to you if not before. We'll see you next month. Or
Bye.
maybe not. I don't know if we have a meeting next month. We'll message you guys. Bye.
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 Bye.